Hey folks, Brian. We had an Elderath session this weekend, like crossover, and the live plays in the description if you're into that kind of thing. I'm gonna keep my glasses on today because I've got notes just to make sure, because our sessions when we play Elderath are like all day long, so they're like 5 hours, and it's hard to remember all the little things that happened during that time. But anyway, so it is Kron, the second day of week 3 of Loraz, which is the 6th month. Okay. Travel back to the lumber camp. It took like a day and a half kind of thing, and we get there, so we start asking people about stuff. The foreman meets us. He's looking forward to seeing his guys, and he doesn't see anybody. So we tell him, well, we found 4 bodies, 4 guys. They were dead. The goblins killed them. And he mentioned something about the girl, and Wes knew it was a girl. Turns out her name is Jane. So we start asking folks about her. The foreman is kind of prejudiced against the gypsies, and so he makes some comments that one of the players repeats to the gypsies as we're asking questions and stuff. So we create a rift. And all of the gypsy camp followers decide they're leaving. And the next day there's a wagon going back, so we travel with them. But anyway, we do find out from the gypsies that anybody can look at her and tell she wasn't a gypsy. Her name's Jane, and nobody had seen her prior to her showing up with Rich, a couple weeks ago, kind of thing. So we drove back to Hamlet. We get there late. We go over to the gypsy camp. The gypsy followers, the camp follower gypsies, meet with the gypsy leader, and they complain about issues with the foreman and that kind of stuff. When they're done, we go up and talk with them, explain what we found. But there's nobody here that is of the description we have of Jane. They do have a girl named Jane, but she doesn't fit that description either. So we head over to the tower and debrief with Rufus. Rufus holds Runt back, but the rest of us head over to the inn to go ask Gundy. We're trying to find out who this Jane girl is, lady, whatever. And so we ask him, about Rich, and did he meet with the girl? And there is stuff going on down south, goblin raids, that kind of thing. So there's been a lot of traffic from Telgar to the bridge and river merging area south of here. That there are lots of traffic coming down, knights, soldiers, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of traffic going through Hamlet now, heading south. To include Sir Michael, but I have him further down in my notes. Now, Sir Michael is the champion of, I forgot her name, the Lady of Bloodstone, who is essentially the queen down here. So this is a big shot muckety muck, and Wes knows him because he's got some connections with the Lords and Lady of Bloodstone. But anyway, so Gundigu tells us that Jane showed up like just a couple of days before Rich and his guys head off to the lumber camp, and she zeroes in on him, and she is way above Rich's, pay grade is the word I was going to use, but that's not the one we used here. They're not on the same playing field, sort of thing. So there's, why is she hooking up with him, kind of thing. So we're racking our brains. What is it about Rich because Jane's got to be an emissary of the enemy. She's connecting things up. Why Rich's team was led out into the woods and attacked by goblins. Why they were captured, probably interrogated. What do lumberers know? They wouldn't necessarily know. Wes was thinking, maybe defenses of the castle kind of thing, but they have had spies just right here in Hamlet. They could get that information anyway. Why take these guys out? And we are racking our brains trying to figure this out. See if there might be some kind of connection with his family and their past, maybe, or something. And we just can't figure things out. So we're at the end discussing things. Runt shows up and, well, what did Rufus say? Well, you guys were having a private talk. And he relays that, Rufus was concerned about the fact that the Goblin Shaman could raise the dead. And about, a dwarven secret door. Dwarves don't build secret doors just for the heck of it. And that'll come up later as well. And then, of course, there's the issue of the silver that was brought up, which I completely forgot, or I would have mentioned it. I'm assuming Wes would have mentioned it. So we grab one of the coins. A few of us go back to the tower. We explain to Rufus, hey, we forgot that in the wagon was the secret compartment. Inside was his bag, 200 silver. They've got the symbol of Minoc on it. And we give it. And he asks for one, and we give it to him. And then everybody, heads back for the night. Nothing fancy going on. Raymond does head to the church. Next day, he's asking the prelate about, Rich and his family. Turns out they're druids. And we do some shopping. We get a couple of twin bandoliers for, I think it's Albus or Runt. Maybe it's Runt, the knife thrower guy, right? We buy him 12, a dozen throwing daggers. He's got 6 in each bandolier kind of thing. But apparently he's got 5 hidden about his body elsewhere. So we turn him into our little machine gun. Alexander also goes back and gets his steel scale Habergion. Now, Habergion just covers the chest. So while it might be good for a tower guard, for arrows, for real combat, the chest just does not get hit that often in RuneQuest. So it's kind of, but it's great against arrows because the chest with missile or thrusting weapons, really. Missiles and spells, but I do thrusting weapons. Now the chest gets hit a lot more. So there's kind of, okay, whatever. Who's got that? So a bunch of us, a handful of us, go and we visit with the druid. Let him know that, the laborers we went out to look for were all found dead. One of them was Rich. We're interested in giving our condolences to the family. And something comes up about asking questions. The druid starts to drill on us. You are not going to interrogate this family while they are mourning the death of their son. No, I'm not taking you. So we kind of get stopped there. And then we have, about a week of downtime. Alexander is working with the druid because he's trying to become a ranger. And there are spell lists because we're using spell off for the magic system. There are ranger lists, but you can't get ranger lists until he's a ranger, right? But the druid can teach him some of the preparatory lists. So he's learning nature's ways and spell defense. Wes does personal training, practice, research, whatever kind of word you want to use for it, with his left-handed dagger attack. He didn't get anything out of that one. He did succeed in learning, but he learned 0. And then Albus goes to spend time with his father learning more carpentry. So he does training there. After this downtime, Rufus calls us back. He tells us about the skirmishers to the south, tells us that Kirk, the ranger lord, who's got a keep south of here, has deployed forces along the south. And he's the one who mentions now about Sir Michael coming south and his troop joining up with the forces of the south. And there's obviously some concern about all these different things happening. Is there any coordination? So he relates to us some potential, jobs for us to tackle. We could go back to Hamlet, go to the Undergate, to the dock with waterways, and check out that with the barge. I completely forgot about the barge. And I started going, why didn't we do the barge thing while we were there? Oh yeah, that's right, the vampire. We were running from the vampire. We could actually go to Minoc and do some investigation there, see if we can't find what's going on. We could potentially go to Guldak, but that's one of the fortresses, so it's probably not a good idea. But to investigate this whole thing about the priest, because there was that the carving in the rock wall in the vampire lair about 6 days Guldak kind of thing. Something new and completely out of the blue was we could take ship from Telgar all the way to Karsh, which isn't on the map, off to the east, to do some investigation to see if they might know something from their side, because we don't really have a lot of communication with them. We meaning the West. We could go and do some counter raids against the goblins, whether that's on our own through the valley or down coordinating with the folks down south. We could go back to the moat house and do some more cult investigation, because there's the cult gear that we found in the moat house proper. And then, just a side mention, this whole dwarf mine thing, like I said, about secret dwarves. Dwarves don't make secret dwarves just for the heck of it. There's got to be something further involved with that. But that doesn't really have anything to do with what's going on. So that's just in the back of our heads. Okay, so we dismiss ourselves. We head to the church where we can, meet in private. Excuse me. And as we're going through the church, there are these various little alcoves with statuettes and such. Shrines, there we go, with shrines about it. And as we're going through, Alvis makes a perception roll and notices one of the shrines that it looks just like the shrine that's in the chapel in the underkeep at the moat house. The one that had the double doors goes to the labstrosity, and behind it, the secret door goes down to the tunnels and to the burial chambers that are down there. And so we start thinking, maybe there might be a secret door here. So we'll start searching for secret doors. Nobody finds anything. So we discuss some things. And a couple of guys go back to look, because not everybody searched. A couple guys, what are they looking for over here? Look around. And somebody rolled like an hot 3. So yeah, sure enough, you press on this leaf through this wire, this gilding here, and there's a panel back there that opens up. So we crawl in, and it's dark. So we light a torch and crawl through, and there's another panel at the end. Find out how to open that up. It opens up onto the sea. We're on a cliff face on the ocean. So we start thinking, okay, we have either transported through distance or through time, or maybe both. So we're looking around. We are in the ruins of a castle on a cliff face. There are some animal trails. We start looking around. There's a road south of us running east-west. We go and check it out. There's lots of traffic heading west. Foot, horses, wagons. But we don't recognize anything. There's no towns out here. We can kind of see the far side of the inlets. We know we're at least on the south side of the isthmus, south side of it. So I'm checking out the map traffic. Where could this be? Where could this be? Somebody thinks it's at this place where there's an inn, but I'm familiar with the inn. No, this isn't the place. So we go back through and come up the other side, and there's a discussion. Do we keep the secret? Do we tell everybody? Who do we tell, kind of thing? And Raymond's going to go tell the prelate, and Runt is going to go tell Rufus. And the rest of us kind of standing around. So Rufus tells the prelate, goes and shows him, takes the prelate through there. We're actually blocking this side open. The other side won't open if the side is open. So Raymond says, okay, go ahead and let it close. We close it. The other side opens. The prelate goes, wow, but the prelate has heard about these kinds of things. In the past, they've used these teleportation kind of connection things, right? For secret communication while the rebellion against Forg, 1,000 years ago, was developing. So they come back, and there's some discussion going, okay, we need to keep the secret to the church. And, well, Runt went and told Rufus, okay, you guys get out of here. So Rufus and the prelate kind of have a hashing of discussion away from us about, secrets, that kind of stuff. So we head back to the inn. Spend some downtime, and then head over to the tower to tell Rufus, okay, we've decided we're going to go back to the moat house and check out the river stuff. When we get there, though, Burns is there, and Wes makes another roll. It was in the single digits kind of thing, and he's looking at Burns. He can tell this is not Burns. There's something definitely wrong. So I'm thinking like a doppelganger, or it's one of the lieutenants of the enemy Forg guys who have either controlled him or facade, illusion appearing to be him. And so Wes is taken aback, and discussion about what's going on. And then Burns whispers in Rufus's ear, and he says, yes, perhaps this will help in preparing you for your expedition. And he grabs a bag of money and tosses it to us. Raymond misses the roll. Whatever. But it's 200 silver, right? And so we heading back to town. And there's some discussion about stuff going on. And I asked the GM at one point, okay, but how far are we down the road? About halfway. And I stop and go, stop. That was not Burns. And he just goes off. Wes is completely freaked about what's going on here. And he says, I'm not touching that money. There's got to be something wrong with it. And some of the newer players are arguing, hey, because we're all poor, right? Well, except for Wes. He doesn't worry about money. But there's discussion. Hey, so we need to use this to do what we're going to buy. We don't really need anything, right? And there's discussion going back and forth, and then decide, okay, let's go to the Druid, because the Druid helped us with the cursed gold plate and stuff before, right? So we'll go to the Druid. Oh, before we do that, Raymond casts Detect Evil, and the GM kind of explains that evil's got an intent, so you have to have an active force there. So, but no, it's not radiating evil. And then he tries to detect Curse, and no, there's no curse either. But Wes is still convinced there's something wrong with it. So they decide, okay, let's take it to the Druid, because he helped them before. And there's some discussion. Hey, Druid, we've got this money. We're kind of concerned that it might be cursed or something. And he asks why and that kind of thing. And then Wes tells him, hey, we must have ask, hey, do you know Rufus was back, or Burns was back in town? This is the first thing, because this is a high-level magic user. He's kind of like the Lord of Town. Well, he and Rufus together, right? So word of his comings and goings, should be pretty known among the uppy folks, the prelate, the Druid, the town mayor, that kind of stuff, right? And he's back? No, I didn't know that. And then the West goes out on, it's not really him. I've got these feelings, the hair's back my neck. I can just see it. It's just not right. But Rufus didn't seem to notice. There's something going on over there. And so the Druid does his magic. Goes, okay, it is ensorcelled though. It's not cursed, but it is ensorcelled. So if you hold on to these coins, it's got tracking spells on it. So somebody be able to track you down wherever you are with this money. And so it's good. Well, what if we spend it? That doesn't really matter. But no, if we're out in the moat house, if we're out in the mountains, somebody's going to know where we are and where we're going. And so, again, Wes is not touching that money. If you guys want to buy some common gear with it, sure thing. But I recommend we leave the rest of it here in town. So bury it in the back of the inn if you want, kind of stuff, and while we did that, Runt stayed by the castle and hid. He's trying to watch to see if somebody comes out and follows us or something like that. Nothing happens. We all get back to the inn. And then the next day, we're discussing. And so, we're kind of discussing about, okay, let's buy a mule or tuition. So it was, no fighting, a fair amount of role playing, lots of information, weird stuff popping up with a couple of really good, nice rolls. Some down times we got our skill checks rolled. Let's did pick up a few of those. And that was it. Happy gaming. Oh, wrong button.